Happy spooky season, everyone. With the theme of this season of the year, I wanted to speak a little bit about something that a lot of us are afraid of when we're working in the spiritual realm, and that is entities. Cue screaming. Entities, or evil spirits, as some people like to call them, don't have to be scary though. I wanted to explain them a little bit so that we can take our power back over them. And entities, I like to call them the mosquitoes of the spiritual realm. They're just really annoying, and it's really hard to get any work done when they're around. And they come in to kind of maintain the balance of the universe, or to balance out the dark with the light. So where entities can come from, or how you can get them, is usually one of two ways. The first way is just from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So super low vibration peoples or places or experiences. These are things where your gut is telling you something's off, something's not right, leave now, and you stay anyways. That's when they can attach. Another way is when entities see you have a high potential for light, they will come in and try and drag you down. That's them trying to keep the balance of the universe and keep things from swaying in the direction of the light. They also like to come up a lot before you're about to have a breakthrough, to try and prevent you or keep you stuck. Your ego can even be an entity in that way too, coming up just so much resistance right before you're about to do something big or huge, or so much fear. And it's just trying to keep you stuck where you are instead of breaking through. So entities themselves can kind of be with you in one of two ways. They can either be attached to you physically or around you in your space. So what they can cause is, especially when they're physically attached to you, they like to cause a lot of fatigue, because it's like carrying the weight of 9 or 10 or 20 extra people on you all the time. They can cause nightmares. They can cause inability to move ahead in life. They can cause depression and really dark thoughts, and physical pain too. So if you're experiencing any of those or multiple cases of those, you may have some entities going on, but don't worry. I'm going to talk about how you can take your power back over them and let them go. So when you have entities, how to release them from yourself or your space. The best way is always to take command of your energy. So like I said, they're like mosquitoes. So if you're terrified of them and oh my gosh, evil spirits, I don't know what to do, I have to run to the closest healer or something, then that gives them a little more power over you. The more afraid they make you, the more power you give them. So a really good way is just to tell them to get the fuck out. Literally. And you don't have to, create a seance or do anything special for that. You can literally just say in your own words, entities, in the name of the universe, I command you to release from me and never bother me again. And just say that as many times and as loudly as you can until you feel relief and they're gone. Another way is actually a saltwater bath. A saltwater bath is really cleansing for your aura as well. So if you can just put some normal salt or even pink Himalayan salt or Epsom salt in a bathtub and soak in it for 10 to 15 minutes, that's great. An herb that is great with entities is rosemary, actually. So if you have rosemary spray or rosemary, I like to put fresh rosemary from my garden in my saltwater bath too. Rosemary also increases your confidence as well, so it kind of gives you that power back over them. And then another way, the most common way, is cleansing yourself with a smudge stick or a spray. So smudge stick can be, sage, Palo Santo. Please make sure that they're sustainably sourced, because you don't want to be calling in even more bad energy because of how it was created and made. So just be really cautious of that. If you can source from your own garden, that's great. And that is just, cleansing your room, or you can go around your entire body until you feel clean. When you're doing your body, make sure you really get the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet too. When it comes to cleansing a space, the first and easiest thing to do is open a window. It's just clearing them out. And then after you open the window, you can cleanse the room with a smudge stick or sage. Another thing that I like to do after that is I will put out a bowl of salt water, and it will just help absorb any other stuff that's kind of in the air and dump it out the next day. Also, be sure to cleanse any crystals you have in the space as well, especially absorbers like obsidian, because this holds on to negative energy. It takes it from you, but it holds on to it. So make sure to cleanse it, and you can either do that under the light of a full moon if you want to be fancy, or if you want to be simpler, you can just run it under warm water until it feels clean. And another way that you can kind of cleanse your spaces through candles and light as well. Specifically, white candles are really good. And when it comes to protecting yourself, how do you protect yourself from getting entities in the first place? The number one thing, listen to your body. If somewhere or something or someone feels wrong, stop, get out, leave, hang up the phone. Whatever you need to do, get yourself out of there. If your body is like alerting you, listen to it. And it feels different for everyone. For some people, it could be a tightness in their throat. For me, it's the feeling like I need to throw up. Whatever it is for you, learn your signals and learn to trust them. Another way that you can kind of protect yourself, as I said before, is lighting candles in your space, especially when you're on video calls and things like that, and you're inviting work energy or energy from other people into your home. Having a candle lit is always a great idea. And there's crystals as well that do help, but you do have to cleanse them regularly again. So just pay attention to that and do your research. And then I'd say the third best way to protect yourself against entities is staying in your alignment, like maintaining a high vibration. So what that means is stop doing the things that are draining your energy or that are making you feel low and dark. And what are the things that lift you up and bring you joy and bring light to you? Maybe make a list of both of those just so you can see them. And when you are feeling low, try and stick to the things that are going to give you energy and lift your vibration up, because the entities can only live at a low vibration. So if you lift yourself up, it's usually lifting yourself away from them. And courage is also another way. I mean, you can be afraid, like I said, when they're coming up right before you're about to have a huge breakthrough or project or something. You can have the fear and do it anyways. And that is showing that, yeah, you guys can be here, but you don't have power over me. I will tell you a crazy personal story about all of this. So there was a solo trip I took recently that I really knew needed to happen. And before I had to get a COVID test and everything like that. And because I live in the mountains, it was, I didn't get my test results back in time. So I was going to have to drive 4 hours to the closest like metropolitan city there and back. So 8 hours total to get this test done. And I gave myself plenty of time, but I booked the last appointment for the day for the test. And I'm driving, and all of a sudden my phone says, road closure ahead. We've added 3 hours to your drive time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it there in time. What the heck? And then I was like, oh, entities, you sons of bitches. And it was. And so I knew they were coming in trying to prevent me from making this trip happen, because I knew it was going to be an important breakthrough for me. So me sitting there in my car like a crazy person, what I did is I said, listen up, like any of you entities that are here, I command you to get the fuck out of here right now. Get out. You are not allowed to block my path anymore. I have command of my energy. You are no longer allowed to be here. And I kid you not, literally 2 minutes later, the road closure disappeared. My phone was like, save 3 hours by taking this route. Just disappeared out of nowhere. So that's a kind of crazy entity banishing story. But the big things to remember are, don't be afraid of them. You have way more power over them than they do over you. Just learn to notice when they are there. And instead of being afraid or like, ew or yuck, just be like, okay, you're annoying and you need to get out, and practice one of the tips to do that. So if you have any questions or this helped you out, feel free, if you have anything to add as well, feel free to comment below or send me a message. And enjoy kind of exploring your dark side and your shadows during this Scorpio season. And I hope that it helps you find even more of yourself to love and to be in awe of. Good luck, everybody.